Hello and welcome. I am Julia with American Frontline Nurses, and tonight we have got a special guest, Shelby with Unjected. They are an online dating service for, you guessed it, unjected people and a community. She's a co-founder of Unjected, and she also lives in Maui and is boots on the ground. She knows what's going on, what we're not hearing on mainstream media, what's being hidden. So we're going to bring her on and we are going to unpack what she has been finding out and all of the incredible stuff that is going on behind the scenes that people are not aware of. So,
hi.
Welcome, Shelby. Hi, thank you.
How's it going? It's so good to see you again. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I am so glad. Nicole and I have been wanting to do something. We've already got a comment coming up.
He's not kidding.
Exactly. Nicole is behind the scenes tonight. So she's running the show for us tonight. So we've got Shelby and myself. And Shelby, how long have you lived in Maui?
So I've been blessed to live on Maui for just a little over 10 years. I'm originally from Idaho, so I grew up in a rural place in the country, and I had just come to visit, like many other people do, and I went back home and was scraping ice off my windshield one morning, and I thought, I'm never going to do this ever again, and I want to live by the ocean and be happy, and so that was my journey to Maui. And actually I lived in Lahaina and worked off of Front Street for about almost 5 years when I first moved here, so I'm very familiar with the whole entire area that did unfortunately burn.
Yeah. And my husband and I, until all of this madness happened in 2020, Maui was our retirement plan. That was where we were. That was where we were heading.
I don't blame you.
We've been to Maui multiple times, and I mean, we're from California, so the weather here is great. We don't have to deal with the snow and stuff, but we're ocean people. We're water people. So Maui it's always been on our bucket list of a place to move, but times have changed. And
it's not quite the same as it used to be. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just amazing, just the stuff, knowing you and knowing other people that live in Maui and knowing the Hawaiian culture of what is not what we're not finding out this morning. In the beginning we had, half an hour blasts on the news of what was going on, and 2,000 people missing, and the numbers kept going down. And I think this morning they said that only 97 people perished, and I'm like, no, I don't think so.
No.
So yeah, it's really sad because so much has happened, and what has it been? Not even a full 6 weeks. And I mean, yesterday they let people back. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. So like you're saying with the body count, there is so much, I don't even know, disinformation is what you'd call it. Basically at this point, coming straight from the government. Lahaina had a census of about 13,200 people, but this doesn't account for any undocumented citizens, which we had an extraordinary amount of people that were illegal immigrants working and living in Lahaina. And these people wouldn't be counted on a census either. And they would be too afraid to actually even come forward and say that they were in this experience. That's something that should be really concerning as well. I mean, personally, I've seen friends take pictures of, and I've seen it myself outside the forensic facility. There was 9 refrigerated morgue trucks there. And so, what else would be in there besides bodies? And literally they're resurrecting people from the dead. you're right. The body count is actually decreasing as time
Mhm.
continues, which makes no sense. And unfortunately, there's still upwards of 500 children missing. So, there is just so much uh, just not accuracy going on with that whole portion. But then, as far as homeowners being exiled from their properties, that's true as well. And when in a natural disaster has a homeowner been arrested for going back to your property? Like
Exactly.
Katrina, did that ever happen? No way.
We
um
didn't hear about it, but I mean, because of people like you and Eric West and people that are sharing the truth, we
yeah.
we know about it. And it's unreal, the stuff that, even in the groups, like I'm in Maui Friends on Facebook, and it's kind of like split. It's like some people have one opinion, and then other people, they're like, stop saying that, and then they go off
Hmm.
for that.
Oh yeah, they've started like banning people for even talking about, which is what we saw during COVID times, right? Where if you had something that was different than the group think, then you were outcasted. And
Mhm.
the same thing is happening now. I would say it's probably maybe a 50-50 split again, where half of the population says this seems weird. There's too many coincidences. Why is there a fence being constructed? Why were the police barricading us? There's half of us are asking the questions, and then the other half are, this was a matchbox, this is a tinderbox waiting to go. This is
Mhm.
just a natural occurrence, this climate change. So, it's interesting how many people are yet to wake up.
It is, and it's sad because people will say something and then people attack them
Yeah.
in the groups, and I've seen it on
Yeah.
Instagram, and I see your stories, and that I think it was a live that you had done when about the refrigerator trucks and everything when you were
Yeah.
in Lahaina, and that was just it was so bone chilling, scary to see that, and wasn't it a SWAT
Yeah, it
vehicle?
was a tactical command vehicle. So they actually, it wasn't in Lahaina. They had this was outside of Wailuku, whereas closest to the one hospital and the one big morgue that we really have, because we have very limited facilities here.
Mhm.
And so, yep, right outside the forensic facility, sure enough, there is, well, it's the forensic facility and then a dental office, which says a lot about that. And in between there is the refrigerated trucks. And I didn't get close. I stayed on the street line, but my friend had actually gone back in there because she's very passionate about it. She was stuck in the fire barricaded by a police officer, and she barely made it out. And she went to go ask him questions, the tactical command vehicle, and she said, what is going on here? And he says, oh, I think it's supplies for the feds. And then she goes, but why would it need to be refrigerated? And then you could almost see his conscience come to him, and he goes, well, it's bodies in there. And he admits it, and he does, and he says that that's what there was. And I mean, yeah, it's a feeling in the air of kind of like 9/11 happened over again, but the country is not standing still for this. We're just this little pinhead in the ocean, so we're very easily forgotten about. It's easy to cut off communication to a deserted island, essentially.
And that's that you guys didn't have cell phone service for. I know I was trying to reach out to you guys and to check and make sure you guys were okay. And it's like nothing was going through for
Yeah.
days. And it's
Hmm.
very scary.
Yeah, they can, and that's what one thing they can do, right? We know this about the grid is, they can effectively cut us off from each other. And that's why, of course, getting in person is always so important to find your communities. But, yeah, like the morning of the fire, the cell towers were down, by like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. that day, along with the power. So, there's a lot of, unfortunately, that also played a huge part in the devastation because people were not able to contact each other. And even my mom, who barely escaped Lahaina, she was still working there. She barely made it out that day. And I had called her just repeatedly. And actually, when I think back about it, I don't even know how we got a hold of each other. Maybe it was just divine intervention, but we had only gotten one call through that whole day. It was right before she made it out. And so, yeah, it's interesting to see what they can do with just cell phones.
Mm-hmm. And the cell phones, and then the water. Like, my husband's a firefighter,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, what does he think about that?
he is, in the beginning it was like, oh my gosh, and now the deeper we dig into things, he's like, none of this is making any sense. This is not
Mm-mm.
a natural. This is not natural at all. And he's been a firefighter for over 25 years, so he knows fires, and he
Right.
knows, he, like, the aluminum melting from the cars, and I've seen, thankfully with Eric West, I don't know, I haven't seen anything lately because he got in some hot water for sharing what he was sharing, because he was sharing the truth, in my opinion.
Yeah, they canceled him.
Yeah,
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 that's
and
exactly what happened.
and
He,
it's really sad.
and well, bless Eric, like I love him, and because he did share so much truth, but I don't think he realized, like, this was his first experience in the conspiracy movement.
Mhm.
Like, we're hardened by now. We know, yeah,
No,
yeah, we've been called every name in the book. It's like, you can't phase me anymore. But for poor Eric, this was like his first moment feeling that ostracization and that slander, and you know just psychologically, that could be so damaging as your first experience, like where you're like, wow, I'm actually being exiled. He got fired from his job. I mean, he got death threats. It just was endless. You're a crazy person, and how dare you talk about these legitimate questions. And so yes, he did. He retreated a little bit, but I know that he's still around, and he's still, fighting the good fight. So I can tell you
and
guys.
yeah, and that's good. I'm so glad, because I watched, if anybody's followed him, and I just dropped the link for Nicole to drop his Instagram
Cool.
into the comments, when he did, he let everybody know that what was going on, and
Mhm.
I think it was a 15 or a 20-minute video,
Yeah.
about everything happening. He took it down, but this is his Instagram. So if anybody goes to the Instagram, there he's got a lot of different things in here, and he's sharing the truth. The
Yeah.
video that he originally had done is gone, um, it's because of, Nicole and I have done it. We know exactly what it's like. We know that feeling of they come after you, because when we finally found, and I call it the troll nest, when we finally found them, we were like, oh my God, like, we had no clue how many people
Mhm.
were saying things about us. And we had to retreat. We did. I mean, we still are, face forward and doing things, but we had to pull back. Like, we had to take all of our nurses off of our website. There was so much stuff we had to do to protect everybody. We don't travel like we used to. We don't go to the events like we used to for our own personal safety.
Mhm.
And it's sad that we've had to do that, but people have our cell phone numbers. They know how to reach us. If they need help, we're still helping people behind the scenes. In fact, Nicole, I don't know if you're able to hop on. What I know, she has family in Hawaii. Her husband's from Hawaii. So, are you able to share a little bit about what you were able to do with his family?
Yeah, so my husband has family on the Big Island. Like, I'm from the desert, so I don't know. Like, what's the Big Island? But
It's Sister Island.
yeah, so we were able to, when we were trying to get water and like food to the area, and FEMA was turning away boats.
Yeah.
We had his family, and I'm not gonna, like, they have a Hawaiian name because my husband's Hawaiian and Native American. But they were able to, I Venmoed them money. I'm like, can you get as much water and, like, non-perishable foods that can be eaten like right now for everybody, and sneak them onto the island. And they did. It was lots and lots of, they made multiple trips, and like we're dropping things off.
Right.
Like the island connection. They call it the coconut.
Coconut wireless.
That's it.
Yeah.
Coconut wireless.
That's our best form of communication.
Huh?
Yeah.
And they're like, I got you, fam. Don't worry. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Because like we spent like $1,000 worth of like donation money that was given, like as people donate to us to send water, and they turned it away, and all of that just got thrown out. It was not given to the people. So then I'm like, hey, I need go to the grocery stores, get this, bring it over, however, sneak it on there like you're a drug dealer.
Yeah, they're carteling supplies. Yeah, literally.
Just like deplorable.
Which was on purpose, you know, in my opinion. And
who turns away water? Like, I mean,
oh yeah. Like it doesn't even, it's not even fathomable. And we're only 100 miles from Oahu, which is the biggest military base near us. Where was the hospital ship? Where was the ship with the water pumps to put out the fire? Where was the Apache helicopters dropping supplies? Where was anybody? Oh, that's right. They didn't come because they didn't want to come. And, you know, the Coast Guard was telling people to turn around or get shot. You're not allowed to bring supplies here. You need to go all the way around and boat to Kapalua and Kahana to go bring supplies, just like you said, Nicole, like a drug cartel. And they were doing it from Big Island and from Lanai and Molokai. And I mean, literally, we were coming from every island. They were boating over supplies. And yeah, you would have to bring it in from the north side of West Maui, which is asinine. And you know why? Because it was a crime scene. That's why. I mean, you know, they wouldn't have had, they would have asked for help if, you know, if it wasn't anything but that, in my opinion. And that's why they did everything in their power to keep people out of that burn zone. You know, there was no official, you know, FEMA or help there for days. You know, citizens were left to clean up bodies, to give these people dignity, because no one was doing that. You know, there was some National Guards and like the young sergeants that were doing some very graphic work that I won't even describe here. But as far as like these captured agencies where you go on and they talk about the Red Cross or FEMA and how great they are, full blatant lies. If anything, they just confiscated supplies, further prevented people from getting resources, and just, you know, keep pushing mass murder, quite frankly.
And that's why we didn't even say anything to let anybody know what we were doing, because then they're going to come after us for helping. And, you know, so it's like you said,
really quiet. And we were concerned that because of all the malevolence out there, that they could come after my husband's family. And they're old. They're not, these aren't a bunch of like 20-year-olds. You know, we got 50, 60, 70-year-olds sneaking water.
I think that,
you know, so we kept it really quiet. And plus, like the trolls that follow us too will do anything to stop us from helping minorities and impoverished people. It's the most ass backwards system I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably, you know, they're most likely government agents. You know, that's, I would consider most bots, trolls, just to be fake profiles that are, you know, people out to talk shit about you, quite frankly, and get you off of your mission. And so I always tell people to remember that a lot of these people are not even real. These keyboard warriors are like AI algorithms. They're so intelligent at this point. They can just program bots to go after you with certain information. So stay strong.
Yeah. And I mean, they tried really hard to stop us from helping people. And you know, I'm just like, you know what? You can only find what you can find on the internet. That's fine. We'll go underground. We took it underground. And that's exactly how we helped the people that we helped in Maui. I mean, it wasn't as much as we would love to do, you know, it's just really hard financially just for nonprofits and things like that. But I'll be damned if I didn't help America when we can send billions of dollars to the Ukraine.
And yeah, it's absolutely asinine what we're seeing. And it's so backwards on all of this stuff that's happening. And like, nothing is being said here about the kids. And you know, we all know from, you know, Coconut Wireless and, you know, talking to people, we all know that school was canceled that day because of the fire. So all these kids were left home alone while mom and dad went to work. And yeah, I know you guys did a special vigil a couple weeks ago. It was anything, how did that go? Were you guys able to get any answers on what was happening?
I wish we could get, you know, it's like living in the twilight zone, because we're crazy for asking about missing children. When has that ever been a reality that we live in where, hey, I just want to make sure the children are safe and accounted for, and that makes you a lunatic? And we're being told that these children are with their families, safe, resting. Most of them have left island. They're doing private school or online school. And that's this blanket statement that they've left. And first it stood at 2025 children. They had dropped it to a little over 1,700, and now it's still about 500. But like, mind you, they're just kind of pushing numbers around on the graph. We don't really know if these are legitimate. I beg to differ. And so you would think at this point, 6 weeks, almost 7 weeks later, that there would be, even a legal obligation from parents. And I would completely respect and understand if you never set foot in a school again and you wanted to take a year off for rest and solace, like that would make total sense. But you have a legal obligation to say that you're alive and that you're
Yes.
well. So, where is that happening? There's like no one like, oh, we just believe you. They're all just okay. And I know that this is a lie, and it makes me sick as a mother because I personally spoke to a man who pulled out 9 dead children from the ocean himself. Just one man. What about all of the other ones? And I fear that, it was maybe whole families that perished because, I'll be honest, like you don't see a lot of, you don't hear parents mourning. You don't see memorials happening. I've not seen one. I've only seen a picture of one child this whole time. And you would just, if it was like a school shooting, you would know every child, what they had for breakfast, the note they left for their parent the night before, when their birthday was. Like you would know everything detail about these children within hours. And so, for us to be 7 weeks into this and we don't know any details about the parents, about the children, where they are, what happened to them, what is happening. It's scary to think that they can pull this off. And, you're right. The children were home from school, no cell phone service. Parents worked in downtown Lahaina. They were kept. So a lot of the neighborhoods, like where these children would have been living, is called the Waiakuli area, which is like stacking neighborhoods. And it's a little bit north of Lahaina. So these parents were barricaded off from getting to these neighborhoods. It really doesn't get much worse when you add the fact that they didn't put the siren system on. They legitimately wanted people to have no warning. The only thing that they knew when there was a fire was when they finally heard screaming outside, and then they realized they needed to leave. So I just beg people to look deeper, because if they can do this here, imagine what they can do somewhere else. Yeah. Because if we're only 80 miles wide, if you can have 500 missing children on a pinhead, what can you do on a big piece of land? And these are this is children of the world. So every citizen should be concerned. Doesn't matter where you live.
And it's so just dynamic. It's so crazy what we're seeing. And I was glued to my phone because I was following you. I like wanting to make sure that you're okay and everything when it was all happening. But just to see, I've followed so many new social media channels because of this that I didn't even know existed, like Maui News on Instagram, and things where people are actually getting information out. And to be able to see FEMA's blocking people, the officer wasn't letting people out of Front Street. It's like, I'm just like, how can this even be possible? And then you find out that the director of FEMA happened to be on a family vacation.
Isn't that convenient? Yeah. Even though it still took them 4 or 5 days to show up, they were literally next door. I'm like,
wait. The best is they turned off the water because they wanted to make sure it was equitable when they turned it back on. Equitable to neighborhoods full of indigenous people.
So I have something to say about this statement in particular. So this guy, Kanoa Manuel. Yeah. So they said this statement, which is really entirely false because, like the private ownership of Maui water is who owns Maui water. So it's not even like they could have turned on the water from taro farmers and given it to the people. That's literally a fake statement. And also, I believe that this man is a sellout. And I'm going to take it a next step further, and which is like something that could probably get me canceled just for being white. Like, how dare I say this? But like, to be honest, like some of these quote unquote like elders that we see here, that people are waiting for psychological permission to do the right thing for their land, they support this man and they're like, oh, I can't, like, they're still taking, some resource from the, the hand that you get what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's just like they are, wanting to be this separate entity and find out what's, and get their land back. But at the same time, they're following people like this man and, these sellouts that are deep state sellouts. Like, I'm going to say it. I don't care if they were born and raised here. They are taking money from the evil people. It's just what it is.
And I mean, signing the contracts with FEMA, we've dealt with it here with when, the Paradise Fire,
Yeah.
an entire town gone,
Right.
just like Lahaina,
Yeah.
just gone. And, people are still now, they're living in trailers and FEMA is, helping them, but it's been years. It's been years since that fire and it's still, people are still not back in their homes and had their homes rebuilt. A lot of people left, like you were saying, a lot of people left the island. And I know a lot of people came here to California with family members.
Yeah. Well, and that's what they want, is to
Mhm.
clear the land. This is a land grab. They want to make sure all the ants are off of it. And, they're doing a really damn good job of it. They already put up the 12-mile perimeter fence, which I've been calling a riot fence. This is not to keep out ash and dust. Like, just use your brains. It's literally the same science where they said, oh, the mask keeps out particles. So you're going to say like the 4-foot or the 6-foot fence is keeping over the ash that's blowing over it?
Yeah,
Got it.
right.
And so let's be real what the fence is about. It's because they are keeping you out and they don't want you to come in here. And like, they're taking it a next step further with the soil tack, which is what they're going to actually spray, I think they've already started, hopefully not, but this, sealant adhesive, which one is not supposed to be used near bodies of water. It says that in the safety data sheet. If you get it in your eye, you should rinse it for 30 minutes. It's never been used for fire traditionally. It was actually created by the DoD to soak up radiation out of the ground. Why would we need a radiation glue poured all over Lahaina? And then more conveniently enough, every place that this soil tack has been used, the land is declared inhabitable. Isn't that convenient? What happens when the land is declared inhabitable? FEMA seizes it along with the state, because they have the right to do this with the 5th and the 14th Amendment. And Josh Green is going to just take it exactly like he said he was. So, it's quite a shocking moment to watch this land grab eloquently happen with absolutely like not really much pushback at all. Let's be real. I mean, he signed proclamations in July that gave him the carte blanche ability to, remove the Sunshine Law, have complete emperor's rule over the land if there was a natural disaster. And so he doesn't have to tell anybody about it, and he can do whatever he wants. FEMA increased their budget for natural disasters just days before the fire. Like you had said, the FEMA director was vacationing. I mean, it's just sick. It's like 9/11 when you start diving into it. And actually, we've been compiling all this information, which I was telling you about in a book coming out soon. So
And is that available? Nicole's got the link for it. Is it available now on?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon on pre-order. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's called Burn Back Better. And it was written with a good friend. Actually, she was the one who introduced us to TWC, Stephanie Perucci, who is an incredible author and publisher. And we came together to collect this testimony and this evidence of what we were seeing. And, we were already, even a week into this, there was pilot logs being scrubbed off the internet. This is something that's a little easier for them in this information age, because they're just deleting actual evidence off of the internet forever. And so, we wanted to compile what we could, while it's still here. And we anticipate that it's going to actually probably turn into many volumes as it grows and as this investigation continues. But it's definitely, a dissertation of all of the different objectives of how did this fire start, and what happened after the fact, and how do we go for how do we move forward as a whole, because this is Lahaina, but this is also the whole entire world that they are trying to burn down. They want to burn us into their little FEMA camps, and they'll stop at nothing until they try. So we have to all understand that this was an experiment done on this little island, because we're 2,000 miles away from any landmass, but it's coming to a city near you. So we all have to, figure it out.
Yeah, and it's so scary that, it's like test pilots of doing all of this. I think it was, I have the link and I don't have to dig it up, but there was a book that magically came out, and it was on Amazon.
2 days later. Yep.
2 days later, it came out on the 10th, and it says that it's talking about the Lahaina fire, and it gives the dates, and the dates are past the time of when it actually published.
And it was all about climate change. Isn't that convenient?
You can go right on Amazon and look it up. I'll have to dig it up for and you can see the publish date. It's like, how is this even possible that they can do this? And then you start looking into that guy that supposedly wrote this book. It has to be AI. There's no way that they can even do this without it being. I'm looking for it right now to see if
there's no physical way.
No, there's absolutely no way. And then, like, within, I think, like 3 months, this guy has he's done all kinds of books. It's absolutely insane. I'm trying to.
It's Miles Stone.
That was it.
Yeah. I think somebody was telling me that he was at some sort of press conference with the mayor. But, that guy's a sellout too. And, it just gets even, like, if you start diving into the revolving doors around here, Josh Green, which we talk about in our book as well, but Josh Green's wife runs she's the chairman at a foster care facility on Oahu called Hale Kipa, which is right across from Pearl Harbor. If you look at their logo, it's literally the pedophile symbol. It's literally the pedophile symbol. Okay. Go and look at the chairman and the board of directors. Who's the board of director? The president of HECO, Hawaii Electric Company. It doesn't get dirtier than that, you guys. And where does the mayor's daughter work? Oh, that's right, for MECO, Maui Electric Company. And so he's absolved himself from a lawsuit because he's implicated. You guys, it's like a telenovela, but real life. And it's insane because it's actually everywhere. It's not even just here.
Yeah. Things are just burning up all over. Greece was on fire.
Right.
Turkey was on fire.
Big Island was also on fire, where Nicole's husband was from. They actually had arrested arsonists there as well. So, arsonists, I think they were probably planted there, obviously. But.
Yeah. And just like when they've had the Paradise Fire, when they have different fires here, they arrested people, for starting fires and different things. And then they'll blame it on lightning and
Right.
power company. And with PG&E here, they've been taken to court so many times. I can't even count how many times. And the last one was a really big one, and they actually got slapped with manslaughter charges. But
Wow.
it's like, at some point you have to start really digging into it, and they're all tied together. Because when you, like you said, you start looking into who's on the boards of these things, who works for these companies, where are they donating?
Yep.
You look into the donations of these politicians. Where are they getting their money from? And it's something that I always do is, if I'm curious about somebody, I will take somebody's name, put it into Google, and I will type World Economic Forum. And 9 times out of 10, bam, it pulls up.
Who will come up? Yeah. Which is exactly what we see with Josh Green.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Green. And I mean, people probably don't realize this, but if you do that with the governor of Texas, he's got a nice little profile as well. People think Texas is, the safe place to go. Not when governor and when he's a mother weffer. Not at all.
Yeah. A mother weffer. I love that. Like, to be honest, like, in my opinion, if you're worried about politics, you're not there yet. So I believe that it all needs dismantled. They're all corrupt. Most judges, law enforcement, every single captured agency, everybody in the House and the Congress, literally, they're all like, it just needs to say goodbye to every single one of them. And, it's kind of the proverbial, like, give them bread and circuses and they'll never revolt. And, that's kind of how, what I feel is happening with, still looking to these government agencies. We just got to start over.
Yeah. We absolutely do. It's somebody tried to do that and he got pushed out, and now he's the bad man. It's absolutely
Typical.
insane. Yeah, it is typical. Anybody that questions anything, and if it goes against their narrative of what they're trying to push, they push them out.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it in companies, we see it in all over, in states, we see it in countries. It's absolutely insane. I mean, look at what's going on with Australia right now. How many thousands or probably millions of acres have burnt over the last few years? And and it's all country, indigenous people's land that's up in flames.
Yeah.
And they're like, if they can do this in Maui and in Paradise, California, they will and can do it anywhere in the world. So people, they literally have to wake up to what's happening and dig deeper into this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's crazy to even think that here we are 22 years later after 9/11, and we still don't, there's still all these things going on that we'll never know the full truth. Most of us feel we know the truth, but we'll never know the full truth. And they hide so much. They hide so much. And that's why we wanted to have you on, because you are boots on the ground. You see what's going on, and you're there helping people, and you lived in Lahaina for a number of years. And with that, so that our viewers and that we can also help. I know there's a ton of different organizations that have popped up. One, I'm not going to name names or anything, but they're big celebrities, and that's we won't go down that road, but let's just say do not donate to that one.
Don't go to Red Cross, don't go to Oprah's and what is the BlackRock owned Vanguard thing that they set up. Just please don't do it.
Absolutely not. Is there I know that I see Maui Strong, and then there's on Instagram, there's the Venmo that are vetted for people.
Yep.
Is there particular ones that you would recommend for our viewers to be able to donate to?
Yeah, so the one that you actually said, I love that one, the Lahaina Ohana Venmo. That one is super amazing because you can actually see their individual pictures and, choose which family's story, that you want to donate to. And we actually did have a running fund going with Jimmy Levy. We're still waiting for him to come visit so we can distribute it, but it's Faith Over Fear Maui. So you could find that one as well. But yeah, I really love that Lahaina Ohana Venmo. That one's definitely my favorite one that I send people to.
And that's the one that I've been seeing quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I follow and I, look into different things, and I want to make sure that we're helping the people the
Yeah.
best that we can.
Those are
And
good ones. Yeah.
those are the good ones.
Those are good ones.
And when Jimmy comes to the island, are you guys going to do anything special for when he's there?
Yeah, we're really hoping to plan some sort of like, honest vigil or memorial because, a lot of these people have been like totally forgotten about, and it's
Mhm.
like life is just continuing on. They're like already talking about opening up tourism again. And it's like, we didn't even know who the people were.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he wrote that really beautiful song, Lahaina
Mhm.
Ohana. So I hope that he comes to sing maybe in like a memorial vigil as well. So we'll definitely keep everyone posted, when he does make it down here. But he's been such a huge advocate, even for years now during the vaccine mandates. He had come to
Mhm.
Maui and supported us then. So he's part of our Ohana for sure.
We love him. We met him for the first time in person in DC when we went for the first defeat the mandates, and
Yes,
he's so incredible, like a big teddy bear.
he
He,
really is. Yeah.
he's just so absolutely amazing. I am trying to pull up because I'm using Zoom. I'm trying to pull up the Lahaina Ohana Venmo.
Oh,
I'm
I may be able to send it to you on Instagram fast.
okay. I'm trying to pull it up so that we can share it. And of course, when I'm trying to pull things up is
Oh yeah, I get it.
is
That's how it
when my Wi-Fi decides it's going to try to crash on me.
is.
I'm home,
Just send it to
Okay,
you.
perfect. It's just me, so I know I'm the only one on the Wi-Fi. But here, perfect. I'm going to get this so that Nicole, if you can, I'm going to put it in our chat. If you can pop this up on the screen, you can share this, and then also put it in the comments for everybody. So then this one, they're vetting everyone.
Yeah.
So these are actual residents of Lahaina that have lost basically everything. Most people in Lahaina, they worked in Lahaina, didn't they?
Oh
So
yeah.
where,
Oh yeah. It was such it was obviously a tourist hub, and so it was home to many small shops and restaurants and just a multitude of like retail stores. So yes, it's definitely the working class, and the homeowners and business owners that were mostly affected by this. There was no corporations in downtown Lahaina that burned down, maybe one or two, but it was mostly just yeah, like mom and pop stuff. So this is
Mhm.
definitely, these are the faces of the real people. Yeah.
And I'm so glad that they've put this together so that people know, because there's been so many scams. I mean,
Oh, I saw one. I think Eric West was talking about it where the person did one number different or like one punctuation different than Eric's actual fund. And
mhm.
this person made like $1 million
Oh my God.
and just walked away and they don't even know who it is. Like, and then they were trying to cancel Eric West for it. And it's like, and he was like, this isn't even me. And so it's amazing, like what people like, there is so much evil out there. So yeah, like
Mhm.
definitely, like we already said, the Red Cross is evil as well. So nothing like that. Like just go right to the people.
To the people. Yeah. And it's like every time something like this happens, that's like my first go-to is like to go like try to reach out to locals if I know anybody in the area. I always warn people, don't donate to the big ones. Like, next month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so, it's going to be, pink everywhere. And, we definitely don't support those organizations.
Right.
And I used to. Oh, sorry. Hey.
Well, I think these organizations too, they're also pushing the ritual that these globalists and these Satanists want, because what do we know about energy? That it's really a powerful thing. And our words, if we use them with intention, can be extremely powerful. And what do we see with this, like Susan B. Komen? What does it say? It literally says run for cancer.
Yeah.
So we're running for cancer. We're not like running against it. And so then you get all these people in mass collective energy actually supporting what they don't want, but the intention in the words, they're not even seeing it through it themselves. And so it's like, it's like, why aren't we running against, for cures? And why aren't we doing like, we have to be so intentional, even with like our protesting, like, what are we chanting and what are we cheering for? And yeah, like those, they already know what the cures are. Let's be real, people. They know.
They know. They know what's keeping their bread and their bread buttered. They know what it is. And I used to volunteer for them, for Susan G. Komen, and I ran. I helped set up the races here in my area, and
Right.
I did it for years because my grandmother, she passed away in the 80s from breast cancer. And so, I thought I was doing the right thing as a nurse. I thought, I'm doing the right thing. I'm, helping with all of these organizations.
Less than 3% of donations actually go to help women with breast cancer. The rest goes to the organization themselves and to their own paychecks.
Money laundering. Got it.
Susan B. Komen, the executive director, makes like over $1 million. And you guys, if you don't believe me, they're a nonprofit, so their financials have to be publicly disclosed, just like us at American Frontline Nurses. And if you check at American Frontline Nurses, our zero. We do not get paid because all of it goes back out to help people. So yeah, Susan B. Komen, like foundation for, Race for the Cure nonsense is the best marketing scam I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Best marketing scam.
It really is.
And that was when my eyes got opened, when I started digging into stuff. And, it's like, that's, I'm like, no Red Cross, no, Salvation Army. They're still, there's, yeah. But I don't give money
the lesser evils.
Yeah, they're the lesser of the evils, because I do know people that have actually been helped from them.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not a lot, but I do know people that have actually
handful.
Yeah. When the bad fires a few years ago, when because I grew up in Napa, and I know a lot of people that lost their homes and their property in Napa, and they did actually get some help. But yeah, it's just so sad and so scary. All these big corporations that are nonprofit, it's all money laundering. And the deeper you dig into them, the sicker they get.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely just insane when you start deep diving into what's happening. We're not hearing about the children. We're not hearing about, all of the deaths. I only knew about the refrigerated trucks from following you on Instagram. Otherwise, I would have never known about that. It's just, it's disgusting.
It is. Yeah.
And
it's like, in this day and age, we have so many ways to find the knowledge and the information. And so then they go out of their way to do what they do best and censor and delete us and try to cancel us and go through all of those plethoras to get us to stop, pointing out the truth. So I just implore everyone, just no matter what, keep fighting the good fight, because it's not the evil isn't going to win by the people actually doing it, but by the people who are compliant and watching them, commit these nefarious crimes, and we say nothing. So all of us need to say something, even if you don't even know what you're saying yet. Say something, because you will figure it out and you'll find your voice somewhere. But if you think that, hey, I don't understand why glass melts in a natural fire. I don't know why steel engine blocks melt in a natural fire. I want to know why there's a fence. Just ask questions. So
Yeah.
I just like, it's just like we saw with the vaccine agenda. Stay vigilant, stay curious. What you're being told is not the same picture. And whether it's the medical freedom revolution, or literally like what I've now finding myself to be involved in, which is this disaster capitalism as well, like, because that's going to affect all of us, no doubt.
And just all of the government contracts that are going to come out of this, so
Yeah.
that they can rebuild. And and that's going to be the next, probably the next book that you're going to have to put out, and have the next volume of your book is like the disaster capitalism of
Right.
what's actually happening, of all the contracts, and
Yeah.
all the government contracts where a cup costs 45 cents, if you were to buy it from restaurant
Exactly.
supply or something, but the government is going to charge taxpayers $45 for
Yeah.
a plastic cup. I
And
mean,
they're
it's
already doing it
Yeah.
with the disaster cleanup. The EPA. It's almost a joke, actually. What they said if your home was larger than 120 square feet, okay, so a shack,
a shack.
like a glorified closet. I mean, trust me, we have small houses in Maui, but 120 square feet. I mean, you guys, that's like a parking stall. If it's
Yeah.
bigger than a parking stall, the government, you're not allowed to clean the ash off of your property. I'm not kidding. They say that you are not allowed to do any of the disaster cleanup as a homeowner, and that you must hire a private government contracted entity to do it for you. So they've already done that. And that's if saying that your land isn't declared inhabitable from the soil tax that they're trying to spray on it. So, I mean, they are, they've got their system down. That's for sure.
Mhm. They do. Well, thank you so much, Shelby, for unpacking this atrocity. I mean, it is so sad that we're even having to have this discussion tonight, and have all the kids that are still missing. And please keep me updated, and Nicole updated, on what you find out, how we can help underground, because that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we don't want to put it out there for the public. But if anybody's watching and they want to help us help Shelby, and the actual people that are on the ground, boots on the ground, that actually can get to the residents of Lahaina and people. And it's not just Lahaina lost, the entire town, but other areas in Maui still lost things. So that's the focus. And that's the sad thing, is the focus on the fire is, and at least here on mainland, is all just Lahaina. They're not
Right.
talking about any of the other fires that happened that day.
Right, which
And
did happen in
Mhm.
Kula. Yeah, which we do dive in about the book as well, because I think that there was multiple fires used as distractions, and when we've seen similar situations in Canada, where we've seen that satellite image of all of the fires, literally igniting all at once. So we know that there's this playbook is bigger than we can imagine.
Yeah. But thank you so much. And we want to have you back again in the near future for Unjected.
Awesome.
'Cause
Anytime.
you've dealt with, personal, like you were saying, the personal hate, and having your website basically stolen from you. I mean, the stuff that you guys have gone through to just even have your website and be able to have your service. That, I mean, one of our nurses works for Unjected,
Yeah.
and she loves it. She absolutely loves what she gets to do. And I talk to her almost daily, and she gives me an update of how things are going. So
I
it
love
it makes me feel so good knowing that we're helping so many people in different ways. And we're doing it all behind the scenes.
that.
I'm spilling the tea a little bit tonight, but
Oh, well, thank you for everything that you ladies are doing, truly, for being warriors, whether it's behind the scenes or not. We all play such a huge piece in these puzzles. And so thank you guys for spreading the truth and, keeping the needle moving forward for the movement. And I would love to join you guys anytime to talk about Unjected for sure.
Thank you so much. It's a very sad topic, but I'm very glad that we were able to bring, real and true information to our viewers tonight.
Yeah.
So
thank you. Yeah. Anything that we can do to get our voice out. So appreciate it.
We've got all of the links that for Lahaina Ohana Venmo. We've got your book. We've got all of that in our comments. We'll probably I don't think we got the blog done. We try to do a blog post for our website so that we can, have all the links in one spot, because you never know when something's going to be taken down. You never know. So it probably won't go up tonight, but we'll get it up in the next day or two so that we have all of the links, and then we'll put in your Unjected links as well, so that we have, so that people know where to go. So.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, and Julia and Nicole, you guys should also join us sometime on the Unjected show, because we do a podcast every week. You know about it, Julia. So we can keep it PG, but we do the once a month TWC podcast. So we can do something like for the nurses, the frontline nurses.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
And that's on Fridays.
Friday evenings, every Friday. Yeah. So I'll send you a link.
That'll be great. So I'll get with Nicole and we'll figure out our schedules so that we can be able to do that, and then and maybe we'll be able to stream together so that it also goes onto our platforms as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I bet we can ask Scott to help us.
Yep. Just pulling a little favor for Scott. I don't think he'll mind.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for having me, ladies. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, everybody. We will see you guys next Tuesday. And thank you very much for everything that all of our supporters do for all of us. We could not be doing this without you guys. Absolutely could not do this without all of our support. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.